What's up, Taiwan? I'm Erika Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan is set to have 2 fewer telecom companies after the industry regulator greenlit 2 large mergers. The National Communications Commission has approved the mergers of Taiwan Mobile with Taiwan Star Telecom and Far East One with Asia Pacific Telecom. The surviving companies are Taiwan's second and third largest telecom operators by subscriber numbers. Both cases still need approval from the Fair Trade Commission. Taiwan's economy contracted in the last 3 months of 2022 as slower global demand hit Taiwan's exports. It's the most the country's economy has shrunk since the global financial crisis. For the full year, Taiwan's GDP grew just under 2.5%, the slowest pace in 6 years. James Chater has this report.
Taiwan's economy is slowing. Unlike other countries which slid into pandemic-induced recessions, Taiwan experienced an export boom which accelerated economic growth. But now, that's coming to an end. Preliminary data shows Taiwan's GDP contracted 0.86% in the final quarter of last year. That's the largest percentage decline since the global financial crisis in 2009. Over the past year, higher inflation, higher interest rates, and COVID lockdowns in China have all depressed demand for Taiwan's exports, which accounts for around 70% of Taiwan's GDP. In September last year, Taiwan's year-over-year exports fell for the first time in 26 months, and since then, the downward slide has continued.
Taiwan's economy is likely going to slow in 2023, and it's going to be a big reversal from the pandemic-driven highs, particularly in terms of exports that we saw in the period from 2020 to 2022. I think from the government perspective, a lot of this is going to really illustrate a lot of the issues that we've been seeing in terms of the relatively unbalanced nature of Taiwan's economy, particularly when it comes to things like household consumption.
Taiwan has stagnant wages and high levels of household debt, and that means it's been historically difficult for the country to boost economic growth through consumption. Earlier this month, Taiwan announced plans to give most residents a $200 cash handout funded by excess tax revenue. But analysts say, despite the extra money, Taiwanese people could still feel the economic strain this year.
There's a lot of different type of pressure that Taiwanese household may be facing. The higher burden on mortgage is one, and of course, if we think of it from a different age group, then you may also have some youth voters complaining home price may be basically too high.
There's only a year until Taiwan's next presidential election, but with the economic fuel that kept Taiwan afloat through the pandemic largely depleted, the government will need to be cautious to ensure the country's economy doesn't continue to shrink. Carl Monsieur and James Chater for TaiwanPlus.
A new report from the U.S. government's National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, has found that 2022 was the world's 6th hottest year on record. Sally Jensen spoke to Taiwan's leading climate scientist Xu Huangxiong at Academia Sinica to find out more.
So the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in the US earlier released a report saying that last year, 2022, was Earth's 6th hottest year on record. How do you think this is being reflected, if at all, in Taiwan?
Okay, because the temperature is rising, right? So it's the same in Taiwan. For example, we have this warmest November last year, but we now have a higher chance to have this occur, probably for different months, but it occur more often. The effect of global warming will make the past event, the event those occur in the past, will become much more severe, even in terms of rainfall intensity or in terms of the drought. So we could see much more. The chance could be higher in the futures. The extreme rainfall in October could be the reflection of this tendency.
And how are these changes affecting things like agriculture and crops in Taiwan?
So in addition to rainfall, so the temperature has a big impact on agriculture. For example, some vegetables like lychee, it need to be stay in a temperature below 17 degrees C during the winter. So if the winter gets too warm, then the production of lychee or ear lychee will be much reduced in the following summer.
And how urgent do you perceive the changing climate to be?
As a climatologist, we are now seeing essentially every month or every year that very unusual climate phenomena we have not observed before. In the future, it's going to occur more frequently with higher intensities and more impact.
So are you worried?
Sure, I worry, and I'm not seeing any quick action that can stop this tendency. So it will take some time, well, probably several decades. So that's probably the best result we can get. But we cannot stop warming. It's already occurring.
That was Academia Sinica's Xu Huangxiong speaking with Sally Jensen. The videographer was Leon Lien. Police in Taipei have arrested 4 people suspected of using taxi and Uber drivers as drug mules without their knowledge. They say the group may have made nearly $1.6 million from the operation in the last 5 months. The group would take orders for illegal recreational drugs via instant messaging apps. They would then call up a cab or Uber to deliver the package to the customer, making the driver an unwitting accomplice. One driver, who is not connected to the case, explained the difficulty he and other drivers face.
通常都是到了现场看东西才知道说客人要送什么物品，我们也不可能去打开客人的包装物啊，所以实际上里面是什么东西我们也不会知道。
The Lantern Festival marks the end of Lunar New Year celebrations. Each year, Taiwan's Tourism Bureau organizes a massive festival to celebrate the occasion. Andrew Ryan takes a look at this year's event.
Elaborate lanterns, gorgeous light sculptures, and a full moon, all hallmarks of the Lantern Festival. It takes place every year on the 15th day of the Lunar New Year, this year on February 5th. And for the first time in 23 years, the Taiwan Lantern Festival is being held in Taipei. You'll find over 300 installations spread out across all 12 of the city's administrative districts. The main display will go up at the Sun Yat-sen Memorial. And one of the highlights, a 22-meter-tall astronaut robot rabbit designed by artist Akiba Lee. Clearly, that's in honor of the Year of the Rabbit. Now, if this bunny looks familiar, that's because it bears the facial expressions of Taiwanese gold medal Olympic weightlifter Guo Xingchun. She acted the part, and with the magic of motion capture and an LED screen, voila!
好在我是一个非常爱演的一个选手啦，他就告诉我，大概在什么时候要做什么，然后表情大概那种情绪要怎么样，所以老师非常会引导，所以那一天就是真的非常顺利的把那一些表情都一次性的把它录完。
On February 1st, you can get a sneak preview of the festival, which runs from February 5th through the 19th. And a bonus for visitors, they're giving away free handheld LED lanterns. This year's design is based on the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland. It has detachable bunny ears you can wear on your head, like Taipei Mayor Zhang Wa-an did at the press conference. And if you'd like to learn more about how the traditional lanterns are made, reporter Yu Jinghuang spoke to Xiao Zaigan, a 97-year-old lantern master. Look for that report in the run-up to the festival. Ricky, Leslie Liao, and Andrew Ryan for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally today, we leave you with images of the Eiffel Tower lit up in support of protesters in Iran. I'm Erika Liu. Take care and see you next time.